Hey there guys, and welcome back to Astromech Productions, a Star Wars and LEGO Star Wars YouTube channel. In this video, I'm talking about 10 LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars sets that I would like to see in the future. I'm sure most Star Wars fans have been watching the Clone Wars recently and reminiscing about the brilliant Clone Wars sets that we got back in the late 2000s and hoping that we will get some more like that soon. Today I'm going over the 10 sets that I want to see most, in no particular order, and some honourable mentions. If you haven't watched the Clone Wars, please check out one of my other videos, as this will contain spoilers. But if you've only watched some seasons, I will put timestamps in the description so you can skip ahead. Let's dive straight into it. The first set on my list is the Duchess's throne room, and this is a very iconic scene from Star Wars The Clone Wars. It's a location that we visit a lot. This is obviously Satine's throne room on Mandalore, and for me this set is more about kind of the aesthetics instead of the actual set itself, so it would be much more of a display set than a play set for young kids. Obviously you could play with it, but it wouldn't have kind of all those special features that most sets have, and I've seen a lot of really great mocks of this. For me, this set would be the scene where, spoiler alert, Satine gets killed basically by Maul, and so you've got Obi-Wan and Maul and these Super Commandos and stuff. So for minifigures I would have Satine, Obi-Wan in his Super Commando armor, Maul, and 2 to 3 Super Commandos, and it would come to about £90 to £100. The Umbaran Starfighters are another thing from Star Wars The Clone Wars that I feel needs a LEGO set out of this. We've had a few things out of the Umbaran arc, namely the Umbaran MHC, and they've been generally really nice sets, so I really hope that they progress with that line. These Starfighters are quite iconic from the Clone Wars. The Umbaran arc is quite a famous arc, it's one of the most notable, and I think this set could be a very interesting set to see. So it's got those really nice curves on it. For minifigures, I think Jessie, a 501st Trooper, Mon Cala, and an Umbaran pilot, and I think it would be about £80 to £100. Another set that I feel needs a Clone Wars version made of it is the Separatist MTT. Now we've got 2 MTTs in the past, I believe, one in 2008 and one slightly later, maybe 2014, and the second one was generally considered to be a bit of a failure, but the first one was received very well. It was big, it looked nice, it had lots of droids, and I hope that LEGO go with this kind of theme of big and having lots of minifigures again if they do decide to make this. Now, although we've had a few of these in the past, I think it does need a remake, especially considering the failure of the last one. A new colour scheme would be really nice, and it would just all be around a really nice set to see. For minifigures, probably 2 droid pilots, 16 battle droids, 6 super battle droids, and 2 droidicas. Maybe an Onderon rebel of some sort, because we see these quite a lot in the Onderon arc, but we've already got quite a lot of minifigures, so that may not happen if they were to make this. And for price, I think £120 to £140. The next set on my list is the Lucrehulk-class Separatist Droid control ship, or as it's more commonly known, the Separatist capital ship. This is a set that a lot of people have been clamoring for a while. It's quite an iconic ship. We see it right the way from the Phantom Menace to the end of the Clone Wars, and it's just a really nice ship in terms of aesthetics. There's controversy over whether it would be a UCS set or a playset. Personally, I prefer it to be a playset. I prefer playsets for this kind of thing. Also, if it was a UCS set, I think A, it would have to be absolutely enormous, and B, that would then drive the price up massively, and it would end up costing about £700 or £800, which, considering, I mean, it's iconic, but it's not Millennium Falcon or ISD kind of iconic, so they couldn't really justify that kind of price. So I think it's much more likely to have a smaller playset version of this. And also because we've got the Venator on the Republic side, we haven't really got anything to almost oppose it on the Separatist side for kids. We have got the Malevolence, but that isn't really, the same thing. For minifigs, I think Martuk, a droid commander, 3 battle droids, 2 super battle droids, and a droidica, and for price probably around £120 to £150. The Munificent-class Separatist Starfighters is another set that I feel needs a set made out of. It's the main ship for the Separatist Alliance. It's very prominent throughout the Clone Wars and throughout Revenge of the Sith. And as well as that, it's just a really nice looking ship. We see it a lot of people would know it. I think it could sell quite well, and it would also just be a very interesting build. And as well as that, it would be very displayable. I think for minifigures, they should go with General Grievous, a Sarge Ventress, a tactical droid, a droid commander, 2 droid pilots, and 2 battle droids. And I think it would be about £120 to £150. This next set is maybe one that's a little more far-fetched than the others, and this is the Clone Cadet Training Center. So in the start of Season 3, I believe, we see Domino Squad training on Kamino, and they have this kind of really nice, almost obstacle course place that they go in to do their training. And I think that could be a really nice setting for a LEGO set. We don't see almost base sets like that, and that could be a really nice change for LEGO. We've also somehow never had a LEGO Star Wars Kamino set, any sort of set whatsoever based on Kamino, and given how big of a role Kamino and the Kaminoans play in the prequel trilogy, it just seems shocking that we've never had something there, and I think it's really time that we get a Kamino set. For minifigures for this set, I think Shark T, Llama Su, 99, El-Les, and 3 Clone Cadets, and I think it could be about £100 to £120. Another Clone Wars ship that I feel needs a LEGO set made out of it is the Stealth Corvette. This was first seen, I believe, in Season 2 of the Clone Wars, and it was a ship that could essentially turn invisible. Now, we only saw it the once, but for a lot of people it was, you know, the first time they've seen an invisible ship in Star Wars. So it's stuck in a lot of people's memories, and it's quite a fond memory. It's also a really nice ship. Aesthetically, it's displayable, it's got playability, it's got, you know, good interior space, and I don't think they could have it in the exact same way that they do in the Clone Wars, as there's no way that LEGO could realistically make it invisible. I mean, sure, they could maybe put they could kind of give you reflective panels to put on it, but that would just be impractical. I don't think there's any realistic way that they can make it go invisible, so I think we'd just be stuck with the actual ship itself. But for me, that would be absolutely fine. For minifigures, probably Anakin Skywalker, Admiral Yularen, the Stealth Pilot, Blackout, and Spark, and it would be about £80 to £110. The next set on my list is the Separatist Super Tank. This was first seen, I believe, in Season 2 of the Clone Wars, and it was a tank that's become quite iconic for Star Wars. We only saw it for about, I don't know, 20 minutes in that episode, but it's generally considered to be one of the best arcs, and that's one of the better episodes of the arc, in my opinion. So a lot of people have good memories of this stuck in their memory, and this is one of the most kind of overpowered things in Star Wars. So it's got the, you know, capability for a lot of people to want it, almost, if that makes sense, and it's got a lot of potential for playability. I think they can make a really nice set out of this. Now, we did see a version of this in the video game LEGO Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars. If you haven't played that, I really encourage you to play it. It's one of my favourite video games of all time. So they have almost got designs for it somewhere. They could just update it and make it look nicer, and then they could release it as a very viable set. For minifigures, I think Ahsoka Tano, Barra Sophie, Poggle the Lesser, and 2 droid pilots, and for price, I think about £90. Another ship that I and a lot of other people actually feel needs a making LEGO is the Bad Batch ship. This has been rumoured for a few months now, since Clone Wars started coming out, to be being made. I think there is a very, very good chance that LEGO will make this, I think would be not a stupid decision not to make it, but I don't think it would be their best decision. It's a very nice ship. It looks, for a lot of people, quite like Palpatine's shuttle that we got, so they could kind of base it off that, but obviously update it, which would be a really nice set. I think in terms of minifigures, we'd obviously get the Bad Batch, so Hunter, Wrecker, Tech and Crosshair, and then for the fifth minifigure, I think we'd either get Anakin or Echo. I would much prefer to get Echo. I think we really do need to get him in LEGO, especially in his new form. I think it'd be a really nice minifigure, but I think maybe it's slightly more likely that we get Anakin, just because it would be easier for them to make. I think for price it would be about £100. So the final set on my list is Ahsoka versus Maul. Now, we've had these kind of lightsaber duel sets for the past 2 years, so I think for this year we can maybe have the Ahsoka vs Maul in Satine's throne room as our set. I wouldn't want to get this as the full Satine's throne room set, simply because I think Satine's throne room, you'd want a lot of minifigures with that, and we could only really get kind of Ahsoka, Maul, maybe Rex, maybe Bo-Katan if we were doing Satine's throne room, whereas if it was just their duel, we'd definitely get them, and it would be a really good way and cheap way to get both of those. Then obviously for minifigures we'd have Ahsoka and we'd have Maul, and for price, the standard price for these of £20. So we're now going on to our honourable mentions category, starting with the Mandalorian Super Commandos Battle Pack. This is quite a self-explanatory set. It's a battle pack with Mandalorian Super Commandos. I don't think we get this for kind of maybe 5 years or so, simply because we've recently got a Mandalorian battle pack, but I would like to see something like this in the near future for minifigures, obviously for Mandalorian Super Commandos, and it would be the standard battle pack price of £13. The next honourable mention goes to the Republic Stun Tank. This is a set that I actually really want to see made. I think it's a set that LEGO are quite likely to make, and it's just a really nice set in terms of aesthetics, in terms of playability, in terms of displayability, and I think that it can make a really good set out of this. For minifigures, I think Mace Windu, Naka-Urus and 2 cloned pilots, and I think it would be about £50 to £60. Mon Cala is another location in Star Wars that I feel needs a set and deserves an honourable mention. Now, I haven't really pinpointed precisely where in Mon Cala, but I think we just need some sort of set on Mon Cala, possibly the throne room, though I'm not too sure about that. For minifigures, Lee Char, obviously, Captain Akbar, Rift Hampson, Kit Fisto, 2 clone scuba troopers, they'd be really nice to see, and 2 scuba droids, and I think would be about £70. So the final thing on my list is General Grievous's Lair. This is something from the first season of the Clone Wars that we see, and it's basically Grievous's base on Vasek, and he has his kind of little repair stations, his monument to Kalish warlords, so it'd be a really nice kind of small thing to see. For minifigures, obviously General Grievous, maybe battle damaged, maybe not, then EVA4D, Kit Fisto, and 2 Magna Guards, and I think would be about £60. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, check out my other LEGO videos. I'll have a link to them on the end screen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your post notification bells on. Vote on the poll in the corner which of these sets you would most like to see. May the force be with you, and I'll see you next time on Astromech Productions.